in excellence, and so this is a formidable technology company. But if you look at the bigger picture of AI in China, remember, AI is the infrastructure technology. It's the computer technology, chips, systems, networking, infrastructure, and then on top, AI is the models and applications. So it's really 3 layers: the computer, the model, and the application. China is moving incredibly fast because the model layer with DeepSeek and Alibaba QN and Moonshot, Kimi, right? All excellent technologies. And in fact, DeepSeek is the world's first open source reasoning model. And it was a breakthrough, no question a breakthrough. And so at the model layer, the technology is advancing very quickly. But the application layer, China is moving so fast. So many different applications. You know, China is fast to both invent a new technology, but also to integrate the technology, to apply the technology. And because there's so much competition in China, right? So many people, everybody wants to build a great company or great new business and want to succeed. A lot of great capabilities come out. And at the foundation of all of that is China's education system has produced some of the world's finest AI researchers. About 50% of the world's AI researchers are based here in China. And so you're rich with science and math and computer science, and it's very unique. So the ecosystem is quite dynamic. It's moving very fast, and I'm just very happy to be here.
Yes. This is your third time to visit China this year, and what are you hoping to achieve during this trip?
I was hoping to achieve giving an entire speech in Mandarin.
Okay.
But my Mandarin is not good enough. 还不够好。可是每一次来会练 I will keep practicing, keep improving. This time, my mission was to attend because Chairman Ren of CCPIT invited me to be in the keynote address for the opening ceremony of the International China Supply Chain Expo. This year was very, very big, and it highlighted several things. You know, first of all, China's supply chain is extremely sophisticated and advanced. Supply chain means very, very long connection of different suppliers and capabilities and technologies. And China's supply chain infrastructure and ecosystem is very sophisticated and very advanced. The technology is very advanced. Of course, you have a very large manufacturing scale. And so that's number one. The second thing is there are so many companies here this year from international, the international ecosystem of technologies. And it just highlights how interdependent the world's supply chain has become. And so I think those were the two things. But I'm here to help celebrate the opening of the opening ceremony.
Yeah, thank you. So what's the next plan about the collaborations with all the Chinese companies?
Well, Nvidia has been here for 30 years, and when I first came to China, there was no Baidu, no Alibaba, no Tencent, no Xiaomi, no anyone. And so I've been here a long time, and I had the benefit of partnering with all of these companies, from the time Nvidia was quite young. And so I'm very proud of all of our partners here and the technology they've created and the businesses they've created. And so we have a lot of partners here. Okay.
Question from Reuters, Mr. Huang.
Right now it's the graduation season, and there's a lot of graduates who are interested in stepping into the AI field. I was just curious that if you are a 22-year-old version of Jesen who just graduated today in 2025, but with the same ambition, what would you focus on? Would it be a little too late to enter the AI game?
First, I would have graduated when I was 20 because I graduated 2 years earlier. Yeah, it's good. And so when you can graduate early, then you can get a jump on life. And so I had a jump on life. In fact, Nvidia was the last generation of semiconductor companies founded. I was not the first. I was the last. And so it's never too late. And the reason for that is if you're first in line, you have a good strategy. If you're the last in line, you also have a good strategy. And so you just always have to, there's always opportunities. You have to stay alert. And, I've always been really quite deeply in love with computer technology. And so I've been able to choose a career that I love deeply. And so I can dedicate my whole life to it. And so for the young 20-year-old Jesen that's graduating now, he probably would have chosen computer science. He probably might have chosen more of the physical sciences than the softer sciences, but I think artificial intelligence he would have enjoyed.
You talked about the advantages of the development of AI in both in U.S. and China, respectively. And do you think is there a room for the two countries to cooperate together or learn from each other?
There's always a room. There's always room in any house for two people, don't you think? At least two people. And so.
Okay, it's fine. Thank you.
So there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room. The GDP of the world 50 years ago, 100 years ago, is much smaller than today. The population 100 years ago, much smaller than today. And yet, today, we're going to be much smaller than we will be 100 years from now. And so, the world's GDP will continue to grow. The world's population will continue to grow. I have every optimism and every belief that the United States will continue to be very vibrant, and all of the things that America is great for will continue to be there. And China will be incredibly dynamic and continue to grow. And I hope, lift hundreds more millions of people into the world to enjoy life. And so I've got a very optimistic view of the future. I told him, I had to make him wait behind all these beautiful girls.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Alan Wong from Bloomberg News. Two-part question. First part is, do you think you can claw back any of the $4 billion write-off because of the previous ban? And the second part of the question is, Trump administration is imposing sectoral tariffs, especially on semiconductors, and you guys make chips from out of Taiwan. What kind of impact do you think that'll have?
Some of the things that we wrote off might be harder to recover, but most of the things that we put on reserve will not be scrapped permanently. Was not scrapped permanently, and so we'll compare what customers would like to buy now versus the inventory that we have, and then we can figure that out. It's probably not 100%, but it's not 0% either. Tariffs, the world is reconfiguring itself, and we are a company, and we just have to adapt to whatever the world's trade and tax and tariff conditions are. There were trade, taxes, and tariffs before I came into Nvidia. There will be trade, tariffs, and taxes after I leave Nvidia. And so this is this is something we all have to adapt to. But the very incredible thing is, Nvidia is a very adaptable company. Our supply chain will have to adapt, and we will find a new way. Okay, so in the long term, it always comes back to this. Do you make products and technologies that are important to the world? Are you building things with great craft and care that customer deliver and receive benefits? And are you doing something that really impacts the world? And if those things are true, everything else will solve itself.
A question from Reuters. How did Washington react to your visit to China, and how do you see Nvidia's future in China specifically?
I went to Washington 1 week ago before I came here, and I told President Trump and his cabinet that I was coming to China, and long before I traveled, President Trump was delighted to help celebrate a monumental day for Nvidia. As you know, we achieved a $4 trillion market value. He was very proud of it, and he was very excited for me, and so he was telling everybody about that, and I told him about my trip here, and he said, "Have a great trip."
Okay.
What was your second question?
are you still planning to invest in China or just maintaining what's already here?
No, if you want to maintain, you have to invest. The market is moving so fast and it's so competitive, and none of my competitors are maintaining. They're all investing so that they could be a world leader, and so we have to continue to advance ourselves and every single day improve so that we could deserve the businesses that we have.
And how do you see the future here?
I hope to have a great future here. Nvidia has been coming to China for 30 years. As you know, China is the second largest technology market in the world, and it is also growing very quickly. And so this is a very important market. There's a lot of very dynamic and innovative customers. If you want to be a good supplier, a good company, you have to have excellent customers as well as excellent products. And so in China, we have very challenging and very dynamic and very innovative customers, and we want to be able to serve them. And so I will continue to do that.
Thank you.
When will Chinese customer use the new brands due to the Nvidia announced yesterday, and how can you describe its performance?
Yeah. So H20 was released from its ban. H20 has some very, of course, it is not the highest performance of NVIDIA's products today, but the memory bandwidth is still extremely good. It is still extremely good. So for inference and reasoning model inference, H20 is still going to be excellent. For large language models and vision language action models, there are many types of new models. NVIDIA's architecture is going to be excellent. We introduced a new product called RTX Pro. And RTX Pro is designed for a new type of application. And this new application is called a digital twin. It is a virtual world, a digital robot. And the reason why digital robot is necessary is in order to teach a physical robot how to be a good robot and perform tasks, you do it in a digital world first. RTX Pro was designed for running a new application called Omniverse, NVIDIA Omniverse, which is very important for digital factories, smart factories, robots, and so on and so forth. And so the RTX Pro product is very unique. It's the first of its kind in the world. And I think that here in China, because there's so much robotics innovation going on and so much smart factory work being done here, and the supply chain is so vast, RTX Pro is perfect. And so I'm very excited about that.
Mr. Huang,
What topic did you talk with Lei Jun? What topic did you
first, okay?
Okay, ladies first.
So, okay, thank you. So, is there any new product or idea or company that make you surprised here in China, even something that even Silicon Valley has not emerged?
The electric vehicles in China are incredible. Would you guys all agree? Okay. I think I saw Lei Jun the other day.
Yeah.
I saw Lei Jun the other day, and he showed me his new car. The technology is incredible. The styling is beautiful. The quality of work is extraordinary. The technology inside is the best in the world. And
Will you buy a vehicle?
I would love to. It's unfortunately not available in the United States, but that's our misfortune, not yours. The fact of the matter is, the Xiaomi cars are great. The BYD cars are great.
Yeah.
The Li Auto cars, they're so big. It's like a living room on wheels. And the Neo cars, Xpeng cars, they're so luxurious, all of them. Yeah, Geely and so many. But I think I'm very familiar with
Okay.
I would say that the electric vehicles in China are probably, in the last 5 years, the most surprising to the world in terms of the advancement. And I think on just purely technical, styling, objective basis, the cars are absolutely robust. Yes.
Did you considering cooperation with Xiaomi in the automotive pilot?
Yeah, we work very closely with Xiaomi on many things. Xiaomi is a great partner. I met Xiaomi when Lei Jun was still quite young. I was younger, but he was very young, and I could tell from day one he was going to be incredibly successful. Lei Jun has, as you know, built a great company, genuinely a great company, and a bit of a miracle of a company that can build everything from the incredible smartphones to incredible cars and everything in between. And so they have air conditioners, they have, right? Incredible how one company can build such a great thing all underneath the Xiaomi platform. And so the thing that really highlights is something very special here. Most people think of China's deep tech, usually in hardware. Maybe it's batteries, which is very exceptional. Maybe it's electric. Maybe it's solar panels. Maybe it's material science. Maybe it's computer systems, networking gear. Those are kind of deep tech areas. And I think that one of the misunderstood or lack understood, without people aren't recognizing the miracle, is that the computer science of China is world class. The software capability in China is world class. And in the future, everything will have software. 你的空调有 software, right? 你的 rice cooker has software. Microwave has software. The fan has software.
Maybe
right? What's that?
Maybe jacket. Your jacket has software.
Yeah, right. Jacket. Yeah. It would have automatically cooled me down just now. Right? And so your watch has software. Your glasses will have software. Everything will have software in the future, and every company in the future will have, of course, if you're a hardware company, your hardware will have software in this cloud. Xiaomi and many of the companies here in China, Alibaba, Tencent, and Meituan, uniquely in the world, has both hardware excellence and software excellence in the cloud. Very, very rare. I think more people needs to celebrate that. Just because the applications like ByteDance is consumer oriented, the technology behind is incredibly advanced.
How does Nvidia balance your ambition in China amid the ongoing global uncertainties, geopolitical and regulatory?
There is no balance per se, and there's not much to think about really. The first thing that we have to do is recognize that every country has their national security policies and trade policies, and these belong to the countries. It's their right to have it, and our job is to comply to it. Our job is comply, and if for whatever reason we believe that our information could be more useful to them, it is my job to inform them of how our industry works and how the technology works, and so we can educate, we can inform. But whatever the policy is in the final analysis, we comply with it. The second thing we do is to build the best possible technology we can, make a contribution to the market, hope that the customers see benefit and value in the work that we do, continue to honor the partners and customers that you have, keep them as friends for as long as I have, for example. And after that, life is out of your control.
Okay. So we know the development of AI has three key factors, like the algorithm and computing power and also the data. But nowadays, I'm not sure, do you think people just focus more on the computing power? And without it, maybe there is no way to develop the AI?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good question. In fact, maybe you didn't understand pick up the background of her question. It's very, very profound. In the first generation of AI, the technology, wave 1 was perception, and wave 2 was generative AI. Now we're in reasoning AI. Reasoning is like thinking. You're reasoning. Maybe you are encounter a problem or a situation you have never encountered before, and you've never read about it before, never saw it before. And so now you have to break it down, reason about this situation. Is it safe? Is it a threat? Is it an opportunity? You have to reason about it. What should I do? Should I do something? Should I do nothing? Should I run away? So you should reason about it. So that reasoning capability is very powerful because it is foundational to intelligence. Now, and then the next wave we were just talking about is robotics. Okay? So the 4 waves of AI as we know it today. Now, in the beginning, for perception, most of the AI learn from data. You show many examples. Show words and stories and pictures and cats and dogs and so on and so forth. You show it many things, and the AI learns by memorizing and generalizing. Okay, and so now we've memorized and learned as much as we need to. A little bit like when we were young in school. Most of learning is going to class every day, and the teacher make you, listen to lecture, and then you read and lecture and read, and it's just, it just keeps coming in. But since we graduated from school, most of the learning is not reading and lecture. Most of the learning is reasoning, is thinking. So now, this is the era of AI that learns by reasoning and thinking. And it's just compute. It's a computer just thinking by itself, practicing. It's like going home, doing math problem, many different ways, practicing. And by practicing and thinking and learning, imagining many scenarios, you are learning to be smarter. And so this is called post-training. The old way is called pre-training. This is called post-training. And post-training is tons of compute. Very little data, lots of compute. Yes.
So why are you introducing RTX Pro right now in China, and what do you expect its role will be in your China strategy, facing the competition between AMD and all the Chinese companies chasing after?
Well, this week is the opening of the 3rd International China Supply Chain Expo. And the supply chain is robots, smart factories, and very complicated systems. And it's the perfect place to announce RTX Pro, which was designed for digital factories, digital twins, robots, and so on. So it is a system for teaching robots how to be a robot, teaching a smart factory how to be a good smart factory. That's why this week was perfect.
Okay, many AI and semiconductor talents are Chinese or American Chinese. How do you view this phenomenon?
I'm sorry?
So Chinese or American Chinese AI talent or semiconductor talents, how do you view this phenomenon? Most of them are Chinese or American Chinese.
What is the phenomenon?
Like
most leading
Americans are AI
ABC.
AI leading researchers.
Yeah, maybe you asked the question in a way that is confusing to me, but let me tell you what I witnessed.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I'm Chinese, and then I became an American Chinese, and I happen to be in semiconductors. No. It's a crane. He's working, doing his job, and I'm in AI. But and we have many, as you know, there are many Chinese who are excellent in AI. There are also many Americans excellent in AI. There are many French. French is very good. The UK, Canada is excellent. Swiss, so on and so forth. So I think technology is really quite global. Now China has a very rich population because you have a culture of science and math. You already have computer science to build on. Computer science and software is very important for AI, and so it was a very good fit. And the technology happened, at this moment. And so China is really quite prepared for that. I think China will be very successful with AI.
And you said, we can see that in recent years, the domestic manufacturing in China has begun launching.
它动得好快哦。
Right. Yeah, we can see that some domestic manufacturing in China have begun launching CUDA-compatible alternative. So how do you see this trend? I mean, are you considering about like the open sourcing,
What are people doing?
I mean, some the domestic manufacturing companies, they have begun launching CUDA-compatible alternatives. So alternatives.
Alternatives.
Yeah.
I understand your question now. My fault. Okay. Okay. Alternatives. CUDA is is not closed. If you create a platform that is compatible with CUDA, it's fine. I'm okay. If you write an application and it supports another alternative, and that alternative is CUDA compatible, I'm quite fine with that. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. 没有关系.
Are you considering about open sourcing like 开源?
CUDA is open, right?
Yeah.
You can see the documentation of CUDA and then if you create a compatible version to CUDA, 可以啊.
Okay. Could you give us a sense?
So in a lot of ways, it's open already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
It's not like x86. If you build something that's compatible with x86, they can get upset. But if you build something compatible with CUDA, I'm not upset. 没有关系.
Hi, Jesen. Could you give us a sense of your conversation with Chinese leadership during your trip here in Beijing?
I had a wonderful meeting with Chairman Ren and Vice Premier He, and the conversations were around, of course, thanking me to come to China to celebrate and open the expo. We spoke about China welcoming foreign companies to invest here and build businesses here, and that China is open and stable. And those who are open and stable were probably the most important messages that I received. And they want to know that Nvidia continues to invest here, that we are still doing our best to serve the market here, and we are. And so we spoke about many good things about Nvidia's doing business here.
Do you think I'd like to ask you about the HBM supply chain. So far, SK Hynix has been the largest supplier, but for the next generation product, for example, HBM4, is there a possibility that the supplier will be more diversified, such as Samsung or Micron? Also, if there are any technical issues in the ongoing HBM4 qualification testing?
You know, every question I get from Korea is trying to make me choose between SK Hynix and Micron and Samsung. And, you know, they're all great partners of mine. There are 3 excellent memories we use. We use HBM memory, we use GDDR memory, and we use LPDDR memory. These 3 memories, the memories NVIDIA use, are the most advanced in the world. And we have 3 great partners that work with us in this area. You know, NVIDIA has grown tremendously in the last 2-3 years. And AI is just at the beginning of our journey. AI is going to be a fundamental infrastructure for every country and every industry. And we have just started, as you know. We are only 2 years into the building of the AI infrastructure. So the amount, and these infrastructure is really an AI factory. You apply electricity, and then tokens come out, smart tokens, right? Smart AI comes out. And so inside this factory is very unique. It has computers and memory. And so I think that the future opportunity for these 3 companies, for SK Hynix and Samsung and Micron, is very, very good. And we work with all 3 of them, okay?
Do you think computing power is overrated? Without or lack of it, the company could not develop AI. And I believe you have heard what calls computing power anxiety. What's your opinion on that?
Computing power anxiety. Is that do you have anxiety when you have too much or too little?
Too little.
Too little. Oh yeah. I have computing anxiety if I don't have enough computers. You know, NVIDIA, we do a lot of, none of our chips, our systems, our networking, our algorithms and software, none of it is possible without AI now. And so we have ourselves many AI supercomputers for our own engineers. And my engineers have computing anxiety. Every day they would love to have 10 times more. And that kind of tells you that this new era of computing is not about typing. It's not about hand coding. It's about the AI machine learning. And so if the AI machine is doing a lot of your learning, doing the learning, then you wish you have faster machines, larger machines, so you can tackle and solve problems that are bigger and faster. And so I think we're all going to have computing anxiety for a decade. Yeah, that won't go away. And we all have it. Anybody who's in engineering has it.
Your Blackwell chips use dysprosium capacitors. Have you been affected by China's near halt since April 4 on exports of dysprosium and other rare earths? And as part of the Trump administration agreeing to allow you to export H20 chips to China, is there any arrangement either for Nvidia specifically or more broadly for China to ease its restrictions on these rare earth metal exports?
The first is no, because NVIDIA's use of these capacitors are, of course, some of the most complicated, most advanced capacitors in the world, but the volume we use is not that high in the grand scheme of things. I think the amount of overall inventory around the world is sufficient for us to enjoy.
Your question, do you, as part of the Trump administration allowing you to sell H20 chips to China, is there any broader arrangement for China to ease some of the export controls it has put on various strategic goods going to the United States?
Export control as a pillar of national security, and export control as a regime for a global exchange, I think is here. And I think I have no privileged information about the negotiations between the two countries. But what I read, as well as what other people have read, is that we were part of the exchange for the Nvidia chips. H20 was part of the exchange for rare earth and other things. And so I don't know any more detail than that, but that's what I read. But I think in the long term it does suggest that every country has its deep expertise and areas where it is extraordinary, and those things, those extraordinary capabilities, of course, advances the economic prosperity and the economic security, which is foundational to national security of each one of those countries, each one of the countries. However, it's also important to realize that it's very likely that some of those things that countries are very extraordinary at will be part of exchange and conversations as it relates to trade in the future. And so I think that's probably some of the takeaways.
But did rare earths come up as part of our
about the demand from the Chinese company after yesterday's the big announcement of the news about lifting H20, because the H20 and all other Nvidia chips are very, very popular in China, especially with biggest tech companies. You said that we all have the computing anxiety. So can you give some color about the demand after the yesterday's announcement?
After yesterday's announcement, I've spent all of my time with all of you, and so I've not met any of my customers yet. And so we should give them a chance to decide what they would like to purchase, and I'm looking forward to fulfill their requirements as fast as possible. It still takes us time to re-ramp up our supply chain. As you know, a supply chain today for NVIDIA is 9 months long. From the moment that I place a PO and start wafers all the way to a AI supercomputer ship is 9 months long. And so I'm going to work very hard to accelerate the recovery of hoppers, and but anyhow, I think we're going to have to work very hard in the coming months.
You're very optimistic about the humanoid robots.
Yeah.
How do you see the humanoid robots industry in China, and how will NVIDIA deepen these cooperations?
Several things. One, the world has a deep shortage of labor. People think that right now, well, they don't think. Right now, unemployment is quite low around the world, and there's a deep shortage of labor. If we had more people working in factories and manufacturing, the world's GDP would grow up a lot, because we're short not by a million, or we're short by tens of millions around the world. And so I think the whole world would be more prosperous if we had more automation. The second is the timing of humanoid robots and AI is happening right now, which is very exciting. We can see the technology happening. And then the third part of your question is, what about China? China is in a very special place because you have three things. One, you have excellent AI technology already, as I mentioned before. Second, you are extremely good at mechanical and electrical things. It's called mechatronics. Yeah. China is very good at that. And then third thing is you have a very large manufacturing base to hire those robots. And so these three conditions are very unique in China. So I'm very optimistic for robotics development here in China.
Yeah, how about cooperation with companies like Unitree?
We try to serve companies all over China that we are allowed to. You know, any company that we're allowed to serve, we try to do the best we can. And there are many smart young companies as well as established companies. Even, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Xiaomi has an amazing robot in the future, or BYD has an amazing robot in the future. So there's a lot of development here.
Do you have any trend daily? Do you have any
Jesen,
okay.
Congratulations, H20 coming back China market.
Only in China can we do this out in the sun in the middle. First of all, you know, it's okay. It's okay to get a tan, right? Yeah. It's okay to get a tan. Look,
do you have
but
any
can this side go to that side for a while?
Yeah. Yeah. So we can.
Oh, would they like to be inside?
Yeah.
What? What are we doing out here? Why didn't somebody say so? 大家进来，大家进来。